Alright, welcome to kind of a special series introduction video I'm going to do for a game called Starsector. And I'm going to just jump right in and tell you that we're going to go through the tutorials in this particular video, and I'm going to post it as such. And the reason for that is because I found when I first started to try to jump into this game, even after watching some videos online, I did not quite get how to do it, and I had to go back through and do the tutorials. But if you're like me, I kind of resent doing tutorials, and so sometimes, like if I'm at work or something, I just want to watch somebody else do the tutorials and learn the game. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to go through the tutorials and do it with you. Welcome to Starsector Combat Tutorial. This part will go over the combat basics. Let's get started. Right. Okay, your flagship for this tutorial is a Hammerhead class destroyer. First things first, let's learn how to get it moving. By the way, you can pause and unpause the game at any time by pressing space. Press A, D, W, S to accelerate forward or go back, and hold C to bring your ship to a halt. Okay, that's a good one. I forgot all about that. Give this a try and press continue when you've got the hang of it. Well, that's our different ones. S slows you down, and hold C to come to a halt, because you get momentum, right? And then C will stop your momentum. And so we're gonna push forward to go forward. Okay, there we go. Moving the mouse around pans your view. You can also use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. So there we go. Ships can also strafe sideways. This is particularly useful if you want to move while keeping your front-facing weapons pointed at your target. Your ship will turn towards your mouse pointer while you strafe, so keep the cursor on top of the target. Okay, there's now an enemy ship, an Enforcer-class destroyer at your 12 o'clock. Its weapon and maneuvering systems are disabled. Let's try strafing. Hold shift and press A, D to circle around the enemy ship. You'll also need to use the WS to manage the distance. Continue when you're comfortable with it. Okay, so hold down shift. See? Okay. If you keep your mouse on there, right? Okay, so yeah, if you hold your mouse, if you hold shift, then basically you will automatically orient yourself towards wherever your mouse is. And then, yeah, okay. I'm terrible at this, by the way. Like, you're not going to see anything terribly expert coming out of me. Now on to weapons. Basically, my piloting skills are somewhere between poop and poop in a plastic bag. So there you go. Now onto weapons. The Hammerhead's weapons are organized in 3 groups. Press 1, 2, and 3 to switch between groups, and left click to fire the selected group. So one Sabot SRM, point defense lasers, and these are your firing arcs too, by the way. See? Pew pew. We only got a couple that can shoot back here. That's why you see them firing like that. So that's pretty nice to know. Although if you're in an arc, like you'll notice, yeah, actually no, they're all, yeah, they're doing their thing. And then what are these again? These are our assault chain guns, so they're pretty good. And then Sabot SRMs. There we go. Right. Let's see. Oh man, I'm such a terrible pilot. That's bringing us forward. We want to go back and then hold shift and we turn automatically. Like holding shift and pointing where you want it to be is probably your best way to turn, but yeah, it depends on what you're used to. Okay, let's give it a try. We're ready to go. Guided missiles require a target. By default, they'll lock on to the enemy nearest to your cursor when you fire. Okay, you can also lock onto a specific enemy to ensure missiles go after it and see more information about it. Hover over the enemy ship and press R to target it. There you go. And you'll probably have seen this if you've watched any of the other videos of Starsector. So watch now, if I fire my missile, it's going to actually go after it. See? Isn't that nice? Even though, like, even though I was pointing like way over here. The Hammerhead has front-facing shields, but some ships have omnidirectional shields that can rotate to face threats from any direction. Right-click to turn on your shields. There we go. Firing most weapons, except for missiles, generates flux. Your ship has a limited flux capacity, and managing what you use it on is key to survival. You can see your current flux level on the info display in the lower left corner of the screen. Now, this is kind of a weird... It's a good mechanic, but it's one that, like, you might have trouble relating to from other space games or whatever. The best way I can describe flux in my own words is that... where is my enemy, by the way? Is that it's most analogous to fatigue. So if you've ever played like fantasy games, in a fantasy game you usually have this mechanic expressed as fatigue. And so flux is basically fatigue for your ship. So there you go. I think that's a good analogy. All right, anyway, next. Fire your assault chain gun, group 1, for a bit, and watch how they build up flux. Can we not bump into this ship, please? Thank you. Then continue when you're ready. So watch, we're shooting, holding down the mouse button, just shooting, and our flux is building up. And let's actually hold shift so we target that guy. Okay. There we go. Alright, the flux from firing dissipates almost as quickly as it's generated. Different ships and ship loadouts dissipate flux at different rates, and so can support varying amounts of weapons effectively. Shields generate flux continuously while they're up, and generate even more flux every time they absorb damage. So even if you're not taking any damage on the shields, holding them, keeping them off will let you put out more firepower. That's very true. It's very good. Now let's see how the shields hold up under fire. Okay. Continue. The enemy ship has stopped firing, but your flux level still isn't going down. Flux gained when shields absorb damage is called hard flux, and only dissipates when the shields are off, so you can't keep shields up indefinitely while taking damage. So you'll notice that's what that little tick there is. Okay, that's a very important concept. Flux gained from firing weapons is called soft flux and can dissipate while the shields are up. So watch this. See, we're gaining flux, and then it goes down, but it stops at the little tick there where the hard flux is. The notch on the flux bar indicates your hard flux level. Right-click to turn off your shields and let the flux dissipate. There we go. Good. Now, let's see what happens if you keep your shields on under fire too long. Right-click to turn on your shields again, and let the enemy keep firing at you. Okay, and we'll speed it up by shooting. As you can see, it's not good. When flux maxes out from shield hits, your ship overloads. While the ship is overloaded, it can't fire or raise shields. Dissipates flux very slowly, but can still maneuver normally. Wait for the overload to end. Yeah, go backwards too, because going backwards is the way to go when you're under flux. Now that the ship is no longer overloaded, flux is back to dissipating at the normal rate. You can also vent flux to dissipate it at double the normal rate. While venting, your ship can't fire or use shields, so you generally only want to do it when it's safe. Press V to vent flux. Right, and I'm trying to fire, but I can't. Now we can fire again. Okay, good. As you can see, you've now been flanked by a pair of Lasher-class frigates. They're going to start launching missiles at you. Fortunately, these missiles aren't very effective versus well-armored ships. Just sit tight and let them get a few volleys off. Okay. Okay. It'd be nice to shoot these down. We've got some point defense lasers just for that, but it's almost impossible to manually target all the incoming missiles. Fortunately, you can set any weapon group on auto-fire, making the weapons identify and attack targets on their own. Press Control 3 to enable autofire for the point defense lasers in Group 3. Make sure you have a different group selected. Selecting an auto-firing group will result in manual override of its controls. So like I have my point defenses selected here. I can put them on auto-fire, but they're not going to auto-fire until I take off. You can see it down there, and now I'm on sabots or assault cannons. Alright, note how the lasers switch to attacking the missiles as soon as they're launched. Point defense weapons will prioritize targeting missiles. Next. Regular weapons will not target missiles automatically. Each ship also has a special system, an active ability it can perform. For the Hammerhead, it's an accelerated ammo feeder that greatly increases the rate of fire for ballistic weapons. Some ship systems have limited uses. Some generate flux, some have a cooldown, and some use a combination of those. The accelerated ammo feeder must cool down before it can be used again. Press F to activate the accelerated ammo feeder and fire the Assault Chain Guns Group 1 to see its effect. Okay. Ooh, Daka Daka. And now we're back to normal. Congratulations, you've completed the basic combat tutorial. Right. That's it, right? Okay. So, let's go ahead. I'm going to put in a break here and come back and do the next tutorial.